Good evening and welcome to Power News. I'm Juhi Rajput. In today's episode, we're going to focus on Rajasthan, a state which is emerging as the solar hub of India. To discuss the same, we've been joined by Dr. Jitendra Singh, Energy Minister, Government of Rajasthan; Mr. K.L. Meena, CMD, Jaipur Vidyut Vitran Nigam Limited; Mr. P.S. Jad, MD, Ajmer Vidyut Vitran Nigam Limited; Mr. B.K. Makhija, Director Technical, Rajasthan Renewable Energy Corporation; Mr. Kishore, Khaitan, Ex-Chairman, CII; and Mr. Dilip, Vyas, Liaison Officer, Godaveri Green Energy. I welcome everyone in Power News. Dr. Singh, in the next 10 years, Rajasthan has a plan to produce 10,000 megawatt through solar. Keeping in mind the current pace of progress, do you think Rajasthan would be able to achieve this target?
Why not? Because Rajasthan is in our Jaisalmer desert, the concentration of sun rays are just 6 to 6.5 kV per square meter. That is next to California and Nevada. And lot of land is there, and that's the reason. And it is the atmosphere is hot and dry. So it is a perfect atmosphere for installation of solar panels there. And in Jawaharlal Solar Mission 2013, they had the capacity to allot 1000 megawatt. Out of that 1000 megawatt, 873 megawatt has been allotted to Rajasthan. And already 650 megawatt, we have already achieved that. Up to 2020, Jawaharlal Solar Mission, they are going to, they have got the target of 20,000 megawatt generation. So we have got the target that out of 20,000 megawatt, we are having the fox eye that we will have at least 14 to 15. You are talking about 10,000, but I hope that they should come out with almost 14 to 15,000 megawatt.
Does this attribute to the geographical and climatic advantage of Rajasthan, or Rajasthan's solar policy has also influenced investors to invest in Rajasthan?
Rajasthan has got a lot of facilities for investors. Almost 900 investors have registered for 17,000 megawatt electricity. Investment in Rajasthan more than, I think, 1 lakh crore rupees for that. And for that, for investors, we have got a lot of facilities. We are giving land on 10% DLC rate, and go the government land for 3 years. And if somebody is having his private land, then the conversion charges are only 10%. So in Balda, 3,000 megawatt of electricity is going to be generated by this solar system.
But how is it going to be possible? Because 4 out of 5 solar CSP projects which were allotted under the first phase of Jawaharlal Nehru National Solar Mission are running way behind schedule, and they have missed the deadline.
We almost direct our investors that on particular D-day, you have to generate, you have to erect your infrastructure, whether it is photovoltaic cell, thermal or whatsoever it is. You have to put your evacuation system by the D-day. If somebody is late, then of course he will be penalized. If he will not do that, then the plants will not come on time. So that is the reason we are strict about it. Infrastructure is ready, then I don't suppose the things will be late. The plans will come on time.
I'd also like to take your views, Mr. Vyas. So what are the main issues due to which the projects have missed the deadline?
Initially, when we started off, we were going as per the plan, as per the schedule by May 9th, which was the scheduled date for the commissioning as per the earlier. But due to availability of material across globe, because this is a new technology, and the material suppliers are still very less availability of less is there. So due to that, there was some delay, but still we planned in such a way that we were be able to get the plant. That was a major challenge. That dollar price, obviously, when we started off the project, when we invested, it was somewhere around 45 rupees. Now we've seen it's already shouted up to around 70 rupees. So that obviously that thing is also is being a big challenge for us on that.
जो प्लांट गोदावरी कमीशन हुआ है वो इंडिया में पहला प्लांट है और उसमें कोई टेक्नोलॉजी की प्रॉब्लम भी थी। पहले जो 2 साल दिए थे, एक्चुअली 2 साल का जो टाइम पीरियड था दैट वाज गिवन टेंटेटिवली, वो इंडियन कंडीशन के हिसाब से सही नहीं था। फिर बाद में मिनिस्ट्री ने ये देखा कि भाई अभी जो टाइम फ्रेम दिया है वो हमने एक थ्योरेटिकल मान के दिया था, फिर प्रैक्टिकल डिफिकल्टी मान के कुछ टेक्नोलॉजी प्रॉब्लम्स हैं और कोई लोकल प्रॉब्लम्स है, उसके अलावा 10 मिनट टाइम बढ़ा दिया गया है। जो 4000 मेगावाट के प्लान है अभी वो डेफिनेटली अचीव होंगे। अब चूँकि कोई भी जो प्लान लेते हैं जो टेक्नोलॉजी नहीं है, देखिए शुरू में जो पहली बिल्डिंग की थी उसमें पीवी एंड थर्मल के इक्वल रेशियो लिए थे। अब चूँकि थर्मल का जो एक्सपीरियंस है अभी एक्सपेरिमेंटल स्टेज पे, जब ये इसमें कुछ बैरियर्स हैं उस पर अभी शोध चल रहा है, उस पर जो भी डिफ़िकल्टी फील हुई है इसको दूर करते हुए अगला जो नेक्स्ट जो फेज़ 2 का जो फर्स्ट बैच सेकंड बैच आएगा उसमें थर्मल का एलिमेंट काफ़ी ज़्यादा लिया जाएगा।
Mr. Khaitan, cost is one of the major concerns. Could we expect any technological innovation in solar which could help in increasing its efficiency and enable it to achieve the grid parity?
By something like 2017, it has been predicted that solar power will reach grid parity. So, as you have seen, like, from 17.5 rupees unit, we've already come down to 6.75. It needs to come another 2 rupees down for it to attain grid parity, because the fossil fuel cost is constantly increasing. The maintenance cost of power plants is constantly increasing, while the solar power the capital cost is reducing. So, other than this aberration of rupee getting depreciated, which has again skewed it up the graph, I would say in the long run, if not 17, by 2018 we should get grid parity. So 2022 is a safe bet. If you can produce power at commercial rate, selling it is not a problem. As you know, the power demand of the country is much more than the supply, and it's continuing to be like that for at least another decade or two.
लास्ट ईयर जो हमने टेंडर किया था उसमें 6 रुपये 45 पैसे हमारा आया था, और 6 रुपये 45 पैसे में भी काफ़ी लोगों ने टेंडर डाल करके और उसमें पार्टिसिपेट करके 50 मेगावाट में लोगों को हमने एग्रीमेंट किए हैं। ये बात बिल्कुल सही है कि दूसरे सोर्सेज की बजाय ये महंगी होती है, लेकिन आप ये सोचिए थर्मल पावर है, उसका पोल्यूशन कितना होता है वो आप देखिए। ग्रीन पावर है तो इसका कोई पोल्यूशन नहीं है। लॉन्ग टर्म में जाके अगर हम इसको देखते हैं तो कोई महंगी नहीं मान सकता मेरे हिसाब से ये।
Mr. Meena rightly said that in the long term this could be very helpful, but if you look at the present situation, it is entirely different. We have a very, very peculiar situation in the country where DISCOMs, in spite of power shortages, DISCOMs are not buying power from the market. Even if it has been produced through conventional source of energy which is comparatively cheaper than solar. In such a situation, how is developer going to be assured of selling its power in the market?
In solar system, we are buying as per our requirement or as per our renewable energy obligation. But if any consumer produce power here, he can transmit it in open access to any other state or any other place. He can use his power. In Ajmer DISCOM, some this wind energy persons make a group of the persons, they are producing the power in Jaisalmer and they are using in Ajmer. So they can use anywhere. It's open access. Any consumer can take his power anywhere and he can use.
See, the thing is, if you see there is a renewable energy purchase obligation by each DISCOM. Now, some of the states, the DISCOMs are not really abiding by those, like Dr. Saab said, the 3% would be a pan-India requirement for solar energy. Now, if somebody does not honor that 3% and doesn't buy the power of the power exchange, you have to put in a mechanism to stop this unhealthy practice if you want the solar energy to develop.
I'd also like to take your views, Mr. Vyas. Cost of solar CSP is almost 1.5 times more than that of solar PV. So, can we expect any innovation in this sector to bring down the cost?
You cannot compare solar PV and solar thermal, because solar PV has been into system for last 10 years. Solar thermal just entered into the play. Now, obviously we have to look into like this, all these R&Ds and other things have started reducing the cost, already started reducing the cost. And we do foresee by the over a period of time it will come up to the level of, and rather better than what PV is being able to produce, or that way the cost effectiveness or the grid parity we're quite sure should come down.
Well, it's time to take a short break. You keep watching Power News.
Indian Energy Exchange, India's premier power trading platform.
From manufacturing of energy cables to EHV installations to renewable energy solutions to retail energy products, our technology energizes lives. Ravin, energizing lives.
To turn movements into a ballet, you need a choreographer. To turn products into integrated solutions, you need Larsen & Toubro. L&T's engineering expertise, manufacturing capability, and application experience by introducing new levels of pace, performance, and convenience at major utilities around the country. Integrated solutions in electrical and automation from Larsen & Toubro.
Power Grid Corporation of India, the central transmission utility, world-class integrated global transmission company with dominant leadership in emerging power market, ensuring reliability, safety and economy. Power Grid, building a smarter grid.
Welcome back. You're watching Power News. And in today's episode, we're having a discussion on Rajasthan, a state which is emerging as a solar hub of India. Now, Dr. Singh, coming back to the transmission network, renewable energy generally face an issue of evacuation of power in absence of the sufficient transmission network. How are you planning to provide adequate transmission infrastructure for upcoming solar power projects?
Already as I have told you that we have just sanctioned 400 kV GSS in Badla, where our park is coming, the solar park is coming. Even after that, in the border line where wind and our solar panels are there, we have got our 220 kV GSS, 130 kV GSS. So Rajasthan, as I have told you, Rajasthan is having the strongest network system in transmission, strongest in the country. Even to give electricity is a big challenge in Rajasthan. Rajasthan is one of the best states. We are providing electricity almost to rural field. We are giving almost 20 to 22 hours electricity in the rural fields, in the rural villages.
ये डिपेंड करता है कि आप पावर प्लांट किस स्कीम में लगा रहे हो, वेदर इट इज आईपीपी अपने लिए या कंप्यूटर बिल्डिंग के थ्रू आ रहे हो या आरईसी मैकेनिज्म मैंने आरईसी मैकेनिज्म के लिए मिनिमम पावर 100 किलोवाट है, उसको भी आपको कनेक्ट ग्रिड में करना पड़ेगा. उसके लिए आपको 11 केवी पे आना पड़ेगा और अप टू 3 मेगावाट नॉर्मली 11 केवी देते हैं. उसके ऊपर जाएंगे आप तो 33 पे आएंगे, 5 मेगावाट 10 मेगावाट तक. हमारे पास में मिनिमम 100 किलोवाट से लेके अप टू 1000 मेगावाट आप किसी कैपेसिटी पे आ सकते हो. हर एक कनेक्टिविटी प्रोवाइड की जाएगी.
आने वाले समय में तो आप जो घरों की छत है उन पे आपके पैनल लगने की संभावना रहेगी और आपकी ग्रिड कनेक्टिविटी पे जो एक ग्रिड कोड हमारा है उसके तहत सीए में काम चल रहा है कि भाई अगर अपने छत पे हम अपना सोलर पैनल लगाते हैं और उसको ग्रिड से कनेक्ट करते हैं तो जितना आपके घर में उपयोग लेना है उतना घर में लें, उसके बाद में वो ग्रिड में जा सकता है. और ये काम ऑलरेडी यूरोप में आपने देखा होगा, करीब करीब यूरोप के हर कंट्री और हर सिटी में ये काम है. और आने वाले मैं कह रहा हूँ आने वाले महीनों में हो जाए तो कोई बड़ी बात नहीं, इंडिया में भी है.
I think the government should also focus on the microgrid aspect besides the kind of attention being given on the major parks. Because another issue about the microgrid, it's like a mobile phone versus a landline. You know, you cannot take grid to every small hamlet or remote forest areas or hilly areas. But you can set up a self-independent solar power plant in any geographical area. And the cost of the grid there is 2.5 times as compared to setting up a solar plant there. So even if the government has to put 100% of the capital to set up the plant there, I think it is a preferable option rather than taking the grid everywhere. And as and when tomorrow the feasibility comes and the grid gets connected, of course you can combine the solar power and the grid connected power in a combined way, and you can generate more economic benefits out of that.
We quickly take a short break here. You keep watching Power News.
Indian Energy Exchange, India's premier power trading platform.
Jal, jal, jal.
जल से जल तक, मेगावाटर्स से मेगावाट्स तक। SJVN Limited.
Power Finance Corporation, the most preferred financial institution, providing affordable and competitive products and services with efficient and internationally integrated sourcing. PFC, partnering the reforms in the Indian power sector.
Welcome back. You're watching Power News. Mr. Khaitan, one of the main objectives of JNNSM was to create favorable conditions for indigenous manufacturing capability, both for solar thermal and PV. But due to the strong presence of Chinese, European and American players, Indian companies are facing a lot of issues. They're facing a tough competition. Do you feel there is a need to protect the indigenous manufacturing?
MNRE इसके लिए प्रयासरत है कि ये चूँकि कई इंटरनेशनल ट्रीटी से बंधे हुए हम लोग हैं, तो अभी MNRE एसोसिएटेड विद द मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ पावर एंड जो अदर कंसर्न मिनिस्ट्री हैं उससे इस पे चर्चा करके इसको जो फेज़ 2 में बिडिंग है उसमें इसका कंटेंट्स के लिए डालने की उनकी व्यवस्था की है कि ऐसे डालेंगे जिससे कि लोकल या जो अपने डोमेस्टिक मैन्युफैक्चरर्स हैं उनमें 50% मिनिमम कंटेंट हो, ऐसा डॉक्यूमेंट तैयार हो रहा है।
What do you think? What could be done to safeguard the interest of domestic players?
अल्टीमेटली अगर आपका प्रोडक्ट ग्लोबली competitive होगा तो आपको कंटेंट की मतलब मैंडेटरी प्रोविजन करने की दरकार नहीं पड़ेगी। एंड सोलर में क्योंकि इन्वेस्टमेंट इतना गवर्नमेंट में हो रहा है एंड सम काइंड ऑफ इनिशियल हैंड होल्डिंग इज रिक्वायर्ड टू गेट द डोमेस्टिक मैन्युफैक्चरर्स अप टू द ग्लोबल लेवल। आई वुड नॉट रेस्ट्रिक्ट माई सेल्फ ओनली टू द सोलर पैनल मैन्युफैक्चरर्स, क्योंकि उसमें सबसे पहली चीज़ है कि आपको सिलिकॉन वेफर चाहिए जिसकी प्रोडक्शन इंडिया में नहीं है। सो दैट ओनली कैन बी डन थ्रू गवर्नमेंट सपोर्ट, दैट कैन नॉट बी डन प्राइवेटली बिकॉज इट्स नॉट फिजिबल। द सेकेंड पार्ट इज दैट बैलेंस ऑफ सिस्टम्स में देर इज अ लॉट ऑफ लैकिंग इन टर्म्स ऑफ कम्पिटेंट मैन्युफैक्चरिंग। उसमें प्रॉब्लम क्या आती है कि लॉट ऑफ द कंपोनेंट्स आर इम्पोर्टेड एंड दोज कंपोनेंट्स में आपके एक्साइज ड्यूटी और कस्टम्स ड्यूटी अट्रैक्ट होती है, बट द प्रोडक्ट विच यू आर सेलिंग विच इज द सोलर सिस्टम उसमें कोई एक्साइज ड्यूटी या कस्टम ड्यूटी नहीं है। सो ऑल दैट एक्स्ट्रा कॉस्ट बर्डन अननेसेसरली ड्यू टू अवॉइडेबल ड्यू टू स्ट्रक्चर है। वाई कांट वी मेक ऑल द सोलर कंपोनेंट्स ड्यूटी फ्री एंड ऑल द इंटरनल ट्रांजैक्शंस ड्यूटी फ्री, ओनली द कंपोनेंट्स टू मैन्युफैक्चर द सोलर इक्विपमेंट। उसके लिए जो मैकेनिज्म है अभी बहुत कम्बरसम है, इट्स रेगुलेटरी बेस्ड, लाइसेंस बेस्ड, अप्रूवल बेस्ड। उसको अगर हम एक ट्रांसपेरेंट और एक अलग सेक्टर मतलब वो पॉलिसी करके कर दिया जाए, आई थिंक दैट इटसेल्फ विल गिव अ लॉट ऑफ बूस्ट। प्लस एक कोई पॉलिसी गवर्नमेंट की निकले टू प्रमोट न्यू मैन्युफैक्चरिंग एंड न्यू टेक्नोलॉजी इन सोलर, उसके लिए अगर कोई फंड क्रिएट करके उसको डेवलप करा जाए, जितने सोलर पार्क्स हैं उसमें स्पेशल इंसेंटिव टू सोलर मैन्युफैक्चरर्स भी दिया जाए, तो आई थिंक इट कैन गो अ लॉन्ग वे।
I'd also like to take your views, Mr. Vyas, on the same thing. What do you think what should be done to safeguard the interest of domestic players for creating indigenous manufacturing capacity in the country?
Like in our case, Godaveri plant, as per the MNRE norms, they had a 70-30 ratio. 70 was the imported and 30 was the ratio. It was the indigenous was supposed to be used, but in our case it was the vice versa. We use 70% of the indigenous products and 30% were imported. Like a lot of manufacturers will be bought in India to manufacture frames and other things for us also. So already like promoting on that front.
Lastly, I'd like to take one concluding remark from all the panelists. India is planning to add 20,000 megawatt by the year 2022, and Rajasthan is likely to add more than 50%, like you said, 14 to 15,000 megawatt. And if this happens, then Rajasthan would become the solar hub of India. What challenges you see in order to achieve this target, and what should be done to overcome this?
ऐसा सबसे बड़ा चैलेंजेस में ये रहेगा, जो आपने 10,000 या 14,000 की फिगर है ये अचीव होगी। इसमें जो सबसे चैलेंज रहेगा, जो नेचुरली ये सारा डिस्काउंट तो नहीं खरीदेगी, क्योंकि अभी जो इनिशियल कॉस्ट है वो हाई है। इसका सबसे बेस्ट ऑप्शन है, सबसे जो तरीका होगा और जो होगा, केवल जो RPO एनफोर्समेंट है उसको जब तक पूरे देश में लागू नहीं होगा, और उसके लिए जो हर स्टेट का रेगुलेटर उसको अपने यहाँ जो डिस्कॉम या जो भी कैप्टिव कंज्यूमर्स ओपन कंज्यूमर सब पे RPO एनफोर्समेंट होने के बाद ही ये संभव हो पाएगा।
दिल्ली को जितनी टोटल पावर लेनी है उसका 3% रिन्यूअल से चाहिए, तो वो कहाँ से लें? यूपी से नहीं ले सकते, क्योंकि यूपी में भी इतना ज्यादा लैंड अवेलेबिलिटी और जो पेनिट्रेशन उतना नहीं है सन का। तो अब राजस्थान अकेला बड़ा स्टेट, राजस्थान लार्जेस्ट स्टेट है पूरे कंट्री का, तो यहाँ खूब जमीन है, यहाँ लगे प्लांट और वहाँ वो आरपीओ ऑब्लिगेशन के लिए 3% अपना मीट करे। तो जो माननीय मंत्री महोदय ने बताया 14,000 से भी ज्यादा हम ले सकते हैं।
Coming time will be of Rajasthan in power sector, and Rajasthan, by the policy of Honorable Chief Minister, will emerge as the leading state in non-conventional energy in the country.
We require is a proactive action to address all the challenges so that all the projects could be commissioned in time, so that nothing could stop Rajasthan from becoming a solar hub of India. On this note, I'd like to thank all the panelists for joining us in Power News. Thank you.